Alright, so here I go yet again talking about another awards show and dragging it at the same time. Up next on the chopping block is the Academy Awards that just happened. I want to talk about the many ways in which a lot of these minority artists, actors, whatever, black actors, black artists are often disrespected by these award shows, and they're just expected to just go there and have a great time and smile even when they don't feel like smiling. The way that y'all drag Angela Bassett, I think that shit is crazy. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you could blow me. I ain't the only. You so lonely, insecure, they don't control me. I ain't the only.
So y'all already know what I'm gonna say. I'm recording this video on Tuesday, which means that there is yet another episode of the Expression Podcast up live right now on patreon.com/AdrianExpression. You will definitely want to check my description box for that, as well as my other channel. I reviewed the finale of Last of Us, among many other TV shows and other nerdy news and information that's coming out. So make sure that you check that out. Also talked about Attack on Titan. Really fun stuff going on in my second channel. Link is in my description. So let's talk about what was going on. First of all, before we get to Angela Bassett and all that stuff, I wanted to bring up the fact that Megan Thee Stallion looked amazing at Vanity's Oscars party, I think it was an after party, I think. But she was here, popped out. It's been a minute since we had heard from Megan Thee Stallion. Y'all already know. I was just like, what's going on with Miss Mama? She done been through so much, like, and she stepped out. She looked absolutely gorgeous. I love this fucking hair. I love this dress. I love her confidence. When she was talking, like, on the red carpet and stuff, she seems to be in a very positive headspace, so I really loved that. One of the interviewers, I think from Entertainment, had asked her about the Renaissance tour, and she said that she's going. A lot of people are just like, kinda thinking that she might be opening for some of the sponsors, one of the spots, I don't know, but it'd be really cool it would be really cool if she opened for Renaissance Tour. But she said she's going, and also she said that she's working on a new album. She said new album, fuck you post. So I can't wait to see what she's gonna do with that. Like I said, it's been a minute since we'd heard from Megan, and she's been going through all that bullshit. So I'm happy that they got Stonehenge teeth. Y'all already know I call him 10 Commandment tablet teeth. So glad they got his ass out of here. And for this new album, Megan, I hope that you just come out guns blazing. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope that you just shut the shit down. Too many people talking too much. They talking too much. Shut it down. Okay, just gonna talk about some things really quickly from the Oscars. All right. So Michelle Yeoh makes history as the first Asian woman to ever win an Oscar for Best Actress. And during her speech accepting this, I love when she was talking to women and she said, don't let anyone tell you that you're past your prime. But here is where we start this conversation about the Oscars and the type of shit that they do on purpose, the type of exclusionary shit that they do, and my constant sermon about us not needing these awards, even though, like, I will continue to reiterate, I understand how important it is as a benchmark for your career, as like, you know, a stepping stone for your careers. They mean something. The Academy Awards, the Grammys, whatever, they mean something, and I wish that they didn't. So, but yeah, from here on out, we're gonna be talking about the whiteness of it all. So Michelle Yeoh has said, this is for all the boys and girls who look like me to know that dreams do come true. And Halle Berry was over here presenting Michelle Yeoh her Best Actress Oscar. And what's interesting is that they are the only two women of color to win this in 95 years. So before we even continue, I don't know how I feel about 95 years and y'all gonna bring these people up to present these awards and give yourself a pat on the back like y'all actually did something, and y'all not doing anything. 95 years? The way that these minority actors and actresses are constantly or artists or whatever, constantly disrespected by these award shows, and then y'all supposed to get up there and, you know, offer the Oscars as like a beacon of hope, like, oh, well, if you look like me and you're struggling, oh, just one day you may get an Oscar. And they do that shit with the Grammys, they do that shit. I'm just like, girl, I wish that they, like I said before, I wish it wasn't as important as it clearly is to this industry. I hope that we can take some of that power away, because, like, okay, for example, this is what an Oscar voter said about Viola Davis, right? Academy member said about Viola Davis. This is what they said. When they get in trouble for not giving Viola Davis an award, it's like, no, sweetheart, you didn't deserve it. We voted, and we voted for the 5 that we thought were the best. It's not fair for you to start suddenly beating a frying pan and say they're ignoring black people. They're really not. They're making an effort. Maybe there was a time 10 years ago when they were, but they have, of all the high-profile things, been in the forefront of wanting to be exclusive. Viola Davis and the lady director need to sit down, shut up, and relax. You didn't get a nomination. A lot of movies don't get nominations. Viola, you have 1 or 2 Oscars. You're doing fine. That was one part. This is the second thing. So the article says, how Academy members feel about Andrea Riseborough's, whatever, Oscar nomination and accusations of the Academy shutting out black women. This is what one Academy member, one voter said. Okay, they say, if it hadn't been for Viola Davis being mad she wasn't nominated, I don't think anybody would have questioned it. It's ridiculous. It's sour grapes. The Academy has bent over backwards to be inclusive. Last year, there were more black people presenting. There were more black people presenting, so that must mean that the Academy is inclusive. Anyway, they go on to say, it's like, come on, I think Viola Davis is talented. I didn't see Woman King, but I'm a little tired of Viola Davis and her snotty crying. I'm over all of that. I'm willing to believe that Andrea Riseborough gave a better performance, whatever. So this is the way that y'all are talking. You didn't even watch, one voter didn't even watch The Woman King, and then said that they tired of Viola Davis and her snotty crying or whatever. And then other times they just like, oh, y'all need to, Viola Davis needs to sit down, shut up, and relax. Honestly, if I seen that voters were saying this type of shit about about me and my art and shit, I'm not even presenting this shit for y'all consideration. And I think that hopefully one day these artists and actors and whatever the industry, hopefully y'all can move out of constantly like holding up these Oscars, holding up these Grammys as like these beacons, like I said before, beacons of hope. When they talking about y'all art and y'all shit like this, they're not even watching y'all shit. They're not watching y'all shit, and when they do, they say y'all need to shut up and be grateful for the shit that y'all have. We got these people up here, we got these niggas up here, these black people up here as presenters, so y'all should be grateful. The Academy's bending over backwards to try to be inclusive when, like I just read, in 95 whole entire years, the only 2 women of color who win for Best Actress are Halle Berry and Michelle Yeoh. If I saw that disrespect as an artist, as an actor, as whatever, I'm not submitting if I have the power to, you know what I mean? Like, I understand, like, I will always continue to re-emphasize, like, I understand that it's important for their careers, for coin, for all of that shit. But I wish that it wasn't, bitch. You talking like that about my fucking art, about my shit, and I'm supposed to continue to submit my fucking movies or my performances to this shit. It's just weird. It's weird. So moving on, we know that Angela Bassett was in the category for Best Supporting Actress. She was in it with Jamie Lee Curtis. She was in it with Stephanie, who was in Everything Everywhere All at Once, same fucking movie as Jamie Lee Curtis, and who honestly, Stephanie held that shit down for a character as abstract as the one that she was playing in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and the performance that she delivered, even her audition for that, like, you could look that up. Just 100,000 times. And the movie was about this particular Asian American family and their experience and what that means, and LGBT stuff was going on, and then the foundation of the movie was just centered on the relationship that, you know, this mother had with her daughter. It was just like, if you gonna give out a fucking Oscar, whatever you feel about it, girl, Jamie Lee Curtis was just sitting there as an IRS agent or whatever. I think if you weren't gonna give it to Angela Bassett, you should have gave that shit to Stephanie. Like, she ate that role up. Like, I'm so sorry. Right? So whatever, Jamie Lee Curtis ends up being the goddamn winner. And there were so many people reacting to how Angela Bassett chose to react in that moment. And honestly, I don't get this. And that's another thing. That's another thing. Where it's just like, you expect these black women, you expect these black artists or minority artists to while they're watching all these mediocre, I mean, I'm sorry, compared to the roles that Angela did and Stephanie did, Jamie's role was not all that. Like, let's just be real. So you want these actors, these minority actresses, to just jump up for joy when these mediocre white girls win they shit. No shame. No shame. When they win they shit. So you don't even give time to Angela Bassett to process the fact that she lost, to process what's going on in her head. You immediately look at her immediate reaction And then all of a sudden people get pissed. Like, bitch, are you happy when other people win shit? When the shit that you nominated for, do you jump up for joy? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Do you do it all the time? And even if you do it all the time, your reaction is different from someone else's, and Angela should have the right to react how she want to react. Especially, she ain't hurt nobody, she just sat her ass down in her chair. Someone noticed that people did not react this way when Miss Warren over here didn't clap for someone else winning in her category. A lot of people have said things like this about Angela Bassett's reaction, and honestly, she just sat down and didn't say anything. Let's just read through some of the reactions. Bassett is a fantastic actress. A shame she didn't continue performing tonight, and applaud when Jamie Lee won. Everyone wants to win, however, most won't. That's life. And sore loser is never a good look. They said she's a sore loser. Someone said the lack of respect of this woman is insane. Said Angela Bassett had the stank face when she just had a regular face. And even if she did express a negative emotion, it's like, okay, she's allowed to do that. Someone else said Angela Bassett sat there bitter as hell. Like, damn. If they didn't vote for her now, they definitely won't in the future. And this is the exact mindset that I be talking about. Y'all talk about like some of these actresses, these black actresses, these black actors, these black artists, minority artists, like she should have been grateful that her black ass was even allowed in the building. They were talking about her and other people, I'm sure, like her, as if, you know, if she don't jump up for fake joy and show the emotions that they want her to show, then she not gonna get shit. You should bow down, get on your knees, beg, and be grateful that we even bring your name up in these kinds of conversations. We bring your black ass name up in these conversations, right? Y'all talk about these people as if they are not human beings with a whole range of emotions that they can decide or decide not to show in the moment. Even when Ke Huy Quan went up there and won, and he was talking about how, remember he was talking about how he was at a refugee camp, and honestly, I think it was because of US imperialism that he was in a refugee camp, but anyway, then he said, I started off there, I started off from a boat, went to a refugee camp, and then now I'm here on the stage winning an Oscar. They say stories like this only happens in the movies, but I can't believe this is happening to me. This is the American dream. And I understand that that's what that person felt or whatever, but I can also understand why the Oscars would want to disseminate that kind of messaging, especially from the messenger that is coming from all over the place. You know, for us to act like, oh yeah, even though the United States had a huge hand in the reason why this person was in a refugee camp in the first place, and even though we go out of our way to make sure that people who look like him are not nominated, are not even considered, even though we see all these actors, they did it with Brendan Fraser too, right? Even though we see all these actors struggling, we ain't giving them fucking roles because they don't fit into certain archetypes until, you know, a certain movie comes out, they're like, oh yeah, we didn't forget about you. Even though all that shit is happening, even though we disrespect the very black actors and actresses, our voters disrespect them when they talk about it. Even though all those things are happening, the Oscars, all this shit, it's just American dream and we all should strive for it. It's just like not giving what you think is given, babes. It's not. It's not. Like, I don't know why it feels like begging for scraps sometimes. Like, bitch, you didn't nominate, you only had 2 women of color win Best Actress, and we talking about women of color, we ain't talking about black people. We talking about 2 women of color. Y'all only had 2 women of color win Best Actress for almost 100 fucking years, and I'm supposed to just not feel any type of way when these minority actors and actresses get on this stage that is complicit in ignoring their asses and ignoring art, and be like, and waving this award around like, oh well, all you have to do is work a little harder, you're gonna get to this place. It's almost impossible. They say stories like this only happen in the movies, but this is American dream. It's just like, it don't move me. It really don't move me. It's like, while you're patting yourself on the back, you want us to pat you on the back for giving an award to the second woman of color in almost 100 fucking years, while y'all were contributing to the problem, trying to cast Asian Americans in these stereotypical ass, reductive ass roles, so much so to the point that Michelle Yeoh said she wasn't accepting these bullshit ass fucking roles. So it's like, the industry don't actually care about minority people or minority actors or actresses or black people. They be wanting fucking brownie points and shit. And some of y'all go up there and give it to them. This is not no dream. To me, it's not no American dream. It is the American reality. That's what it is. And I don't know, it seems like there's this expectation for us to just ignore all of that, ignore the nuances of that, ignore the outward, overt fucking discrimination that happens just for a fancy ass gold award to wave around and say that you did something. It's just like, these people don't want you there, and they've proved it. They don't want you there. And so I wish that we could interact with these award shows with that in mind. You know what I mean? If you go up there and accept that shit, just be like, about time, I'm that bitch, and sit your ass down. Like, that's I don't know. Tell me what y'all think about it in the comments, because I can go on about this all day. Thank you so much for watching. Check out all my links in my description, like I said, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.